Hey, Chris Liepe here. It's time I did a proper review of Wannabe Startin Somethin. This is a multi-track listening session where we get to hear all sorts of things you would never hear listening to just the produced mix. And this one's got some really neat sort of Easter eggs in it that you wouldn't expect. Let's get into it, starting with refreshingly real strings. And not so real strings. Isn't that fun to hear that contrast? I don't really have any basis for knowing if this is accurate, but I think that they've taken the real strings and then they've used like an octave shifter or something like that. I'm not sure that's like a synth. I think that's actual strings just processed an octave higher. You can hear that little thing where they've like sort of taken out samples. You hear that? Yeah, that's kind of cool. All right. Other fascinating things about this arrangement. This guitar playing, the restraint and the attentiveness to pocket and groove. It's a percussion instrument. And that is largely what happens with the guitar. Now, let's listen to this transition again. And the brass. Okay, we all know this part. Hear the room and the resonance behind them? Building the drums and percussion here. Pretty cool. Now, here's one thing I love about this arrangement. We've got real raw bass that is, again, just so locked in. I want to bring in the synth bass slowly. Like I brought it in a little too high there. It's interesting. You bring it to a certain point and you get this attack and sort of like from the acoustic bass, and then you get this lengthening from the the synthy bass. It's really interesting to play with that balance. So I'll bring it in again till that point. Huh? I like that. That's a little heavier, I think, on the acoustic bass than the synth bass, than the eventual mixed recording we all have come to know and love. And now we shall get into the lead vocals and background vocals. Fascinating things here. Soloed out comped leads, background vocals, and then we'll get to the little people in a minute.
Ooh.
Notice the pitch imperfections. You would never hear a line like this these days. They would ratchet it down with pitch correction, unfortunately. I much prefer this. The clearing of the throat is also left in.
Ooh. I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. Hard to get over, you're too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. Hard to get over, you're too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. I took my baby to the doctor with a fever, but nothing he found. By the time it's in the street, they said she had a breakdown. Someone's always trying to start my baby crying, talking, squealing, lying, saying you just want to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. How to get over.
Okay, I want to go back and point out a few nuances that most people would never notice, especially if they're not listening to the studio isolated tracks.
I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be.
Notice how he leans in on, I'm going to get rid of the notes and just capture the energy with my voice. You want to be starting something. You want to be starting That's a very light. Something is always very, very light, but he leans in dynamically and brings that back out. That's the charm of this hook. It's so dynamic, and it's like this pent-up release.
I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something.
And there he really leans in there, but
I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something.
You got to be starting something. You got to be starting something. I'm exaggerating it, but even experimenting with that in your own voice, whatever your own voice is, experimenting with that energy and that trade-off of energies, most people don't think about stuff like that until you hear someone like this do it.
I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. How to get over.
And then he really takes that idea of leaning in and out to another level here in a second.
You're too low to get under. You're
Beautiful.
Stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder.
Listen to that. Ugh, just this agility here.
You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder.
Right here, head voice.
And
the accuracy there too.
Middle, and the pain.
And the
Middle, and the pain is
and the pain. Ugh. So vocally agile.
Middle, and the pain is thunder. How to get over. You're too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. I took my baby to the doctor with
Now, real quick, this. the inhale as he's going around with all these other agile things. But listen to what happens here. He creates this new area for his voice to go in.
I took my baby to the doctor with a fever, but nothing he found. By the time it's in the street, they said she had a breakdown.
Ugh, listen here.
I took my baby to the doctor.
Is that head voice? It's certainly not, oh, my baby, no. It's not that.
I took my baby to the doctor.
He brings this intensity at the very beginning of the line and then releases into the, my. I took my. I took my baby. But then there's this thickness as he comes down. In the same way, although not the same sound that I just demonstrated.
I took my baby to the doctor with a fever, but nothing he found. By the time it's in the street.
It's a very quick entrance and exit to mixed voice. Na, this brighter, brash, yet released non-tense, thicker sound that most vocalists would have to go, took my baby to the doctor. They'd have to do that. But he has this bridge, this mixed bridge that has a little bit raspy, but definitely weightier than your typical head voice. Again, I didn't even hear that until I was able to get the vocals isolated.
I took my baby to the doctor with a fever, but nothing he found. By the time it's in the street, they said she had a breakdown. Someone's always trying to start my baby crying, talking, squealing, lying, saying you just want to be starting something.
So there's a huge difference between this.
Squealing, lying, saying you just want to.
Saying you. Clearly a head voice, like light, and then what we heard before here.
I took my baby to the doctor.
My. It's much weightier, even though it's higher.
I took my baby to the doctor with a fever, but nothing he found. By the time it's in the street, they said she had a breakdown. Someone's always trying to start my baby crying, talking, squealing, lying, saying you just want to be starting something. I said you want to be starting.
And it's so playful. He's so playful.
Lying, saying you just want to be starting something.
Saying you just want to be starting something. He throws his voice everywhere. Zero expectations for hitting notes, for doing anything particular. He's so free that when he really wants things to count and be accurate, he's able to get that because he's not tense. He's playful. And so he has a command over his voice that's only brought about by a certain degree of playfulness. If you're interested in experimenting with your own voice to develop some of these kinds of postures so that you can sing freely, click the link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my free singing course. I'll help you do things with your voice you never thought possible.
And you just want to be starting something. I said you want to be starting something. You got to be starting something. I said you want to be starting something. You got to be starting something. Too high to get over, too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. Too high to get over, too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. You let her pretend that you're good when you're always up to no good. You really can't make them hate her, so your tongue became a razor.
Notice how much more developed and chesty this high note is than the first time we heard it.
You let her pretend that you're good.
There's an extra degree of compression there.
You let her pretend that you're good when you're always up to no good. You really can't make them hate her, so your tongue became a razor. You really can't make them hate her, so your tongue became a razor.
You're real. No. You're real. You're really gonna make a man. You hear the transition in vocal weight. We get there light. We add weight. We compress. We get this real bright, almost crass, brash sound. And then we mellow it by leaning out of it a little bit. And then joining it to our comfortable chest range. Michael is a master at bridging these different coordinations.
You're always up to no good. You really can't make them hate her, so your tongue became a razor. Someone's always lying to keep my baby crying. Treacherous, cunning, declining. You got my baby crying. I said you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. It's hard to get over. You're too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. It's hard to get over. You're too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable. I'm still they hate you. You're a vegetable.
Vegetable. We can really hear him playing with placement and resonance here. Most people doing this would be, oh, that sounds dumb, if you're just experimenting with your own voice. But he goes into Cartoonville here.
Well, you're a vegetable. I'm still they hate you. You're a vegetable. Well, you're a vegetable.
This is a good time to bring in some of the background vocals.
Always lying to keep my baby crying. Treacherous, cunning, declining. You got my baby crying. Started something. Started something. Started something. Started something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. You're a vegetable, you're a vegetable, still they hate you. You're a vegetable, just up a thing. You're a vegetable, they over you.
Just unhinged. So fun to hear. And we have this little people thing going on here.
You're a vegetable.
Pitched up.
You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable.
So you hear that same sort of comb filtering or skipping that's happening there? That's the same thing we heard on the strings. And that's one of the artifacts from those earlier pitch shifters.
You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable. Still they hate you. You're a vegetable. Just a buffet. You're a vegetable. They eat off of you. You're a vegetable. Ow!
Huh. Play with your voice. Make that the thing you do if you sing.
Ow!
Or if you want to sing. Listen to that. I love that you can hear all that stuff in the final takes.
Oh! If you can't feed your baby, then don't have a baby. And don't think maybe, if you can't feed your baby, you'll be always trying to stop that.
There's a great posture change there.
If you can't feed your baby.
If you can't feed your baby! If you can't feed... He leans in and then releases into that bright brush, sort of sound.
If you can't feed your baby, you'll be always trying to stop that job from crying. Hustling, squealing, lying. Now baby slowly dying. I say you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. I say you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. It's too hard to get over.
One of the reasons we don't hear that ebb and flow in the final mix is because we have these background vocals covering that arc up a little bit. I mean, it sounds fantastic, but you don't get a feel for the mastery of Michael's approach until you listen to it by itself.
I say you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. I say you wanna be starting something.
Right? Now, that same passage without the background
I
vocals.
say you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. I say you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. It's too hard to get over. It's too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle. And the pain is thunder. It's too hard to get over.
I wanted to bring up something earlier, too. Listen to the way he intentionally slurs his diction and creates contrast.
Someone's always trying to start my baby crying. Talking, squealing, lying, saying you just want to be starting something. I say you want.
Right here.
Someone's always trying to start my baby crying.
Stop my baby crying. There's this mumble thing that he's doing just for that little section. He's so percussive usually with the way he uses his voice. And then he puts this in and he's talking about crying.
Someone's always trying to start my baby crying.
It's like he enters into this, okay, this little bit of a sad, while keeping the tone up. This is voice acting while singing. And that's all over this track. But that was a really neat example of it.
Hustling, squealing, lying. Now, baby, slowly dying. I say you wanna be starting.
He slurs it there a little bit, but nowhere near what he did in that section earlier.
Now, baby, slowly dying. I say you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. I say you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. It's too high to get over. It's too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle.
Let's talk a little bit about his rasp. We're not just stuck in the middle. We're stuck. We're stuck in the middle first. We're stuck in the middle. We're stuck in the middle. Hear how that's simultaneously released and leaned into? We're stuck in the middle. As opposed to, we're stuck in the middle. That's too, There's a lightness to his raspy approach, and it comes from first sort of leaning out and letting your voice fry and break and be loose, and then compressing into that. We're stuck. That gives us this simultaneous raspy grit instead of just a grunty grit. He doesn't sound grunty.
Starting something, you got to be starting something.
You got to be, yeah.
Starting something, you got to be starting something. It's too high to get over.
And you hear that in the air too, right?
Something, it's too high to get over.
Right? There's an airiness to it. That's from that loose coordination that is then compressed into.
It's too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. Too high to get over. You're too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is.
You really hear it there, that airiness.
You're stuck in the middle, and the pain. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain is thunder. Lift your head by,
and there, that's more compression.
Lift your head by.
Yeah. No, it's but it's in his higher sort of starting to be mixed range. So there's a lightness that comes with that lighter, higher posture. This is not a yeah. He's not like shouting that. He's light in that note in the first place.
Lift your head by. Lift your head by and scream out to the world. I know I am someone, and let the truth unfurl. No one can hurt you now.
Also using a good amount of crow there. Unfurl. Not furl, but furl. This song is such a wonderful example of all the tricks Michael uses to get his voice places.
I know I am someone, and let the truth unfurl. No one can hurt you now, because you know it's true.
Right?
No one can hurt you now.
No one can hurt you now. No, there's a crowness to it. He dances with his voice.
Because you know it's true. Yes, I believe in me, so you believe in you. Help me sing it. Help me sing it, baby.
Soul.
Yeah, sing it to the world. Sing it out loud. Help me sing it.
I love that line.
Help me sing it.
Help me sing it. How it's so like, rah, and then,
Help me sing it. Help me sing it. Sing it to the world.
This era in particular, he just had so many different vocal timbres that bounced around in the time span of just a few words sometimes. Phrase. Fascinating to listen to, especially with the studio multitracks, so that we can hear all those details. Be sure to check out this growing list of Michael Jackson multitrack analysis videos here on the channel. And again, if you would like to work with your own voice, experiment with it in ways that will help you do things you never thought you could do, click that link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my free singing course. We'll see you for more.